Surgeons and Specialists is dedicated to helping patients regain the quality of life they've lost due to an injury, arthritis, or joint wear and tear. Monument Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine for everyday athletes like you.
Hanging with Brian from Anytime Auto Sales. I see new models of stand-up and teardrop campers on your lot.
Yes, you do. We're proud to feature the new SGC Armor line of campers from Bontrager Outdoors. Bang for the buck, there's just nothing out there like these new super cool Armor campers and Bontrager teardrops.
And the suspension these campers have? Wow, so impressive.
All our campers come standard with the off-road package. Bontrager and Armor just ramped boondocking up another notch. And right now, you'll get the best price all year on these 2026 ultra-light, ultra-beefy, option-loaded campers and teardrops.
You gotta check out these new look campers, people. The new designs are fantastic, and so many options for their size.
And so many options for towing. No need for a diesel or a big truck. These only weigh around 1,500 to 2,000 pounds, so they can be towed by almost any rig.
Check out these new 2026 Bontrager and SGC Armor campers, everyone. See AnytimeAnytime.com, and as always, at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Reeves back for tonight's Game 5 against the Rockets. That's according to ESPN. They'll tip in LA at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Cowboys wide receiver George Pickens has signed his franchise tag, according to a report from ESPN, while the Houston Texans and linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair have agreed to terms on a 3-year extension. In day baseball,
Montgomery lines into center, drops down. Vargas on his way home. Ball game over. 3-2 and 10. Colson Montgomery gets it done.
I need a hero. And it happens to be Colson Montgomery.
On the White Sox radio network, they topped the Angels in 10 by that 3-2 count. Mariners beat the Twins 5-3. Rangers blanked the Yankees by a score of 3-0. Marlins just topped the Dodgers 3-2. Jays topped the Red Sox 8-1. And the Guardians were 3-1 winners against the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome in. Wednesday on the Nate Brown Show, South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Say it with me. You're here. You're ready. It is always a great day in South Dakota. Yes, welcome in. Fox Sports Radio. We're live across South Dakota. We're on Fox Sports Rapid City right now. Also saying hi to everybody on KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls. Great stations. We appreciate you. Thanks for making this show possible, guys, and hope you're having a solid Wednesday. Let's do it upright. Let's have a good guest lineup tonight. I mean, we try to do that every night, but we got a good one tonight. Talking USD with John Schemmel, so the athletic director for the Yotes, coming up. Big night to have him with all this college sports stuff. So let's get after it. Let's get going. South Dakota Sports Talk Show, not only on Fox Sports Radio, on our affiliates, you can also stream us on X. Find us, watch us live at Nate Brown Show. We appreciate that. We are on X. Follow us, watch us live at Nate Brown Show. We're also on Midwest Sports Plus. Bring us up on the new high school sports streaming app, Midwest Sports Plus, right now. And the YouTube channel, The Nate Brown Show. Search for us, and you've got us, The Nate Brown Show, on YouTube. Subscribe if you would, and we'd be good to go. Out of the gate tonight, Mike Henrikson's going to pop in. The legend, South Dakota sports broadcaster Mike Hendrickson making an appearance on a Wednesday. I want to hit some South Dakota sports topics, including high school baseball with Mike. He's been a big proponent of that over the years. Mike Hendrickson's in tonight talking baseball and more. We'll go to Chris Denker talking college hoops. Yes, the 76-team expansion discussion, but also NBA with Chris Denker, former D1 coach, NBA basketball scout. He's with Net Scouts Basketball. Chris Denker on live from San Jose. John Schimmel is on tap. He's going to start the show tonight. So the athletic director for the Yotes, a lot to discuss with John Schimmel. Yes, we'll get into USD, but also what's his reaction to the 76-team expansion and what that could mean? Women's tournament, men's tournament, plus a new event just announced at the Pentagon. I'm telling you, Sioux Falls just lighting it up. Sioux Falls is lighting it up with these events. Another big one coming up this fall. USD is going to be involved in that at the Pentagon. We'll talk to John Schimmel about that. And finally, Trent Singer is on tonight from Sioux Falls Live, talking South Dakota high school sports. Trent Singer is in SiouxFallsLive.com. Wednesday show is solid. Well, the guest lineup's solid. Let me make sure I can make it solid. You be a part of the program. 605-720-1067 is the Pizza Ranch studio hotline. Powered by our friends at the Pizza Ranch. 2 great locations, East River, East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, and in Brandon. Stop by the Pizza Ranch. So good. Best buffet in town. Locally owned and operated. And hit us tonight on the Pizza Ranch studio hotline. 605-720-1067. You've got us. And on the Barron's Wilson text line, 605-720-1067. That's the Barron's Wilson text line. Okay, we're set and ready. Caller right out of the gate. Okay, I'll do that. Thanks for getting in. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hey, I wanted to call about this yesterday, but I was in a low-service area, as you are in South Dakota a lot of the time.
Okay.
You mentioned yesterday how, basketball parents, the study of the basketball parents are the worst parents. Even you do have very loud parents, but I ref virtually all youth sports, basketball, football, soccer, whatever it is.
Okay.
Even in basketball, the sport where I get hazed the worst, for every parent who yells terrible things at me, I have 5 parents come up to me after the game and thanking me for doing it.
That's good.
So
that's good.
It's the vast minority of students, or vast minority of parents.
That's good to know. I would agree with most of that. Yeah, okay, you're a ref. All right.
Yeah, the second take that I have is, and I have this feeling of whether it's Sodak 16 wanting to go to 32, or the NCAA tournament wanting to go to 76, you're not getting any better competitive basketball by expanding it. All you're doing is getting more money.
Yeah.
The 77th team, if you expand to 76 teams, is going to complain that they should have gotten in. When you're doing Sodak 16, the 17th best team in the state complains that they should have gotten in.
Yeah.
Guess what? The 17th best team in the state might be better than the 16th. They ain't winning the thing. The point of getting in the tournament is to win the thing.
So you don't like it?
No.
Okay.
In fact, I actually liked it back when state was 8 teams, and it meant something to get there, but I also understand that the regions made things unbalanced, especially in B basketball, those types of things.
Okay. All right, man, I appreciate
don't need any more expansion in these tournaments. The bottom teams don't have any chance to win the dang thing anyway, so why keep expanding?
Thanks for calling. I appreciate you getting us started tonight. And thanks for getting back in today. He had reception, and that's good. So, and by the way, that's exactly where I was going to start. How did I set that up? Live caller, live radio show tonight across the state, and a live caller sets us up for the 76-team expansion talk. You can say, wait, that started yesterday. Hang on a second. There is an update on the 76-team expansion thing. And I want to go to the mid-major route. So I want to tie this into South Dakota State, USD, whoever. I want to go the mid-major route. Here's what I just found from the Big Sky Conference Commissioner. Now, why would I bring that up when you're talking 76-team expansion? They're not going to let in more small schools, right? I want to tell you this. No, they're not going to let in more small schools. So just so you're aware, people think, I had people send me messages on Twitter today because I threw out our question of the day, and I'll get to that coming up. But I threw it out on social media first, and people said, hey, Why are you even, discussing SDSU and USD or the Summit League? They're not going to let in more mid-majors going to 76 teams. That is correct. But here's what it looks like they're going to do. So let's lay this out. We didn't have this detail yesterday. I don't want to start the show with it tonight. So we're going to go to 76 teams, and here's what the Big Sky Conference Commissioner said recently about expanding the tournament. And you may want to listen to this guy. The Big Sky Commissioner is on the men's basketball committee. I actually sent him a note today because I wanted to get him on the show, and I said, hey, Tom, I'd like to have you talk about this. He can't discuss this right now. So I appreciate his response. He says, as a member of the men's basketball committee, I have no comment. I can't discuss it because this isn't all set in stone yet. But this is the type of serious stuff. This is a guy who knows what's going on with the tournament. The conference commissioner of the Big Sky Conference. That's Montana State, Montana, those guys. You know this. Here's what he said about expanding the tournament when he was asked by a sports writer in Montana. Quote, I'm interested in expanding the tournament. In studies I've seen, in 8 out of 10 years, our Big Sky men's champion would actually get a chance to play a like opponent in the first round. That would give us a 50-50 chance to get a unit. I'll take those odds. So this, if you just heard, that's a direct quote, mid-major conference, Big Sky Conference. He said, I want to expand the tournament. And you're saying, wait, that's not because 2 teams are going to get in from the Big Sky. No, what they're explaining here today, they're more than likely going to do half of these first games, 12 of these games, 12 of these teams, I should say, are going to be from the mid-major automatic qualifiers. That's what people have missed so far on this. So many people have said, I'm totally against it. That last caller said, I'm totally against it. You guys have said, I'm against it. I understand, but here's what I'm telling you. South Dakota State, let's say they go in as a 15 seed. They would more than likely play another 15 seed to try and be in the tournament for Thursday. You follow? So they would still count this as a tournament game. They're going to add 24 teams to this. 12 teams from like mid-major automatic qualifiers and 12 bubble teams, Big Ten, SEC, those guys. So the Big Sky Conference has already said, we want to do this. What if Montana Grizzlies win a game? They get to play a 15 seed. It's almost like a play-in. That counts as win. What does that mean? What's a unit? That means money. Every time you win a game in the tournament, your conference gets money. So would you guys like to have a chance for the Jacks to win a game? Or just, no, they're going to go in as a 14-15 and get blown away in the first round? That's the details of this. Makes it interesting. Thanks for getting in. You're live, and you go ahead.
Yeah, that's not a win. So basically, they're just putting them. They're going to put all the mid majors in the play-in games to play. Maybe you beat Belmont, but you don't get a chance to play UCLA or Michigan State. Let's just weed out all the
you will
mid majors early on, so then we can get the big boys in. And
hang on. You play Belmont, you win, and then you get to play Michigan State. So you do get to play Michigan State. You just have to win.
Yeah, I know, but they're going to put all the mid majors are going to play each other and beat each other up, and then get their butts kicked. I don't. At the end of the day, it's the big schools with the big money with all the votes.
Okay, that doesn't get your interest. All right,
it does. No, all right. It doesn't.
I appreciate you. Thanks for calling. I'm trying to have a positive outlook on this. Nobody's paying me to give a positive spin on this. I'm just trying to say I'm going to be watching the tournament. And here's my question of the day. This is for Jacks fans, Yotes fans, okay? I'll ask John Schimble this coming up. He's the athletic director for the Yotes. He's live next. They got a banquet tonight. He said, I'll pop on. We'll talk about this tonight. If USD or SDSU get in from the Summit League and they're in the opening round, which would be Tuesday or Wednesday, they would be like, let's say they're gonna be a 15 seed. They probably might have to play in the Tuesday, Wednesday round. They would play a like opponent potentially, and then they would win, and that would get money. Would that give you a little more interest? Hey, national TV, they get to be in the tournament. They get a game where they might win. That's money. Last caller said, no, it doesn't provide interest. I'm gonna push back on that just a little bit. I don't know. He's a tournament fan, but I'm gonna push back on that. You want to see the Jacks or the Yotes get in there, and you're gonna watch. I mean, you're gonna be all over that. You're gonna be all over that. They get matched up against, I don't know, maybe they got to play Tulsa. It might not just be total mid-majors playing mid-majors. They haven't totally lined this out, but they did say like 12 lowest-ranked automatic qualifiers and then 12 of the bubble schools. Okay, that's the Auburns, the Seton Halls, those teams. So they're going to match teams up of like opponents is how this opening round's going to be. And those 24 teams are then going to play, and then they'll be in the tournament, which goes to 64 on Thursday. You follow? So that's what I'd like to know. And I think you're going to watch the Jacks and the Yotes play, I don't know, Tulsa, Belmont, whoever it is, San Diego State, whoever it is. You're going to watch them and say, hey, we might be able to win this tournament game on Tuesday night, and you're going to be in this, and then they'll get to play, I don't know, Kansas on Thursday. And you are going to watch that. Does that help you at all become more interested? That's my question of the day. That's how they're selling this, and that's why the Big Sky Conference commissioner, when I saw this quote today, I thought, now why would the Big Sky commissioner be for the expansion of the tournament when he's not going to get any more teams in? Well, that's how. He said it right there. This gives our men's champion a 50-50 chance to get a unit. I'll take those odds. So that's what he's saying. I'm interested in expanding the tournament, and he said 8 out of 10 years our Big Sky men's champion would get a chance to play a like opponent. So it's like, hey, I think our seeding would be pretty good. We'd play in one of the opening rounds Tuesday night to Wednesday night, and then we'd be solid. And you'd be able to win, and you get money when you win. Okay? Let's see what the voters, let's see what you say. 605-720-1067. Question of the day, would you like this option? 76 teams. I know you might not like it, but it could have the Jacks or the Yotes, whoever you're a fan of, the Hawks, the Fighting Hawks, the Bison, whoever you're a fan of, they might be able to actually win a tournament game because let's just be real, they aren't winning those opening round games. Mike Dom's not coming back. That was Nate Walters. Those days aren't coming back. That last caller said it's just the big boys in the end. It really is. So this would give you a win, potentially. Big Sky Conference says a 50-50 shot. Get an NCAA tournament win. Or, yeah, I understand they're trying to appease a little bit, and then they get all their other big schools in with the other 12 teams. So 24 teams would be playing Tuesday, Wednesday. 24 teams, 12 games. Would you like this option for the Jacks? Let's see. Listeners responding. Let's take a look at the poll. 58% of my people on Twitter are saying, yes, I like this option. Get a win, make some money. Get a win, make some money. 42%, I still don't like the expansion. So I'm a little surprised. I think most people are against expansion. I said I'm not going to be one of those like totally against it and just railing on it, just saying this is ridiculous. I said that yesterday, and now you tell me if the Summit League gets a 15-15 matchup, I'll take that. I'll watch that Tuesday night, get a win, then see who we play on Thursday. I'll take that. Will you take that? Let's see. Listener text, let's go through them. 605-720-1067 of the Nate Brown Show. Question of the day, would you find it more interesting? Let's see. 15-15 doesn't count as a real win. Real tournament wins start Thursday. Tuesday and Wednesday games are friendship games. Friendship games. They call those friendlies in soccer. Those are friendlies. Lister text, other than just complaining to complain, nobody should be upset about expanding. More opportunity for other teams' fans. Everyone gets involved. Ultimately, the top teams will prevail anyway, if they're truly the top teams. Okay, so he's in. He's in. 605-720-1067 on the text line. The regular season winners of the mid-majors should get an auto bid along with conference champion winners. Well, hang on a second. They're not going to do that for us. So regular season winners, they're not going to do that. No more mid-majors are going to get in. That's set. They're just going to give you a better game in the quote-unquote opening round Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay? Let's see. Lister text, 50% of the people on that poll are stupid. Well, it's Twitter, so you may be right. Let's see. Watered down regular season, watered down conference tournaments. Taking that many teams takes the excitement out of the bubble watch. Yeah. Well, that's for you college basketball fanatics like me. I mean, we're kind of watching who's in there, who's there, who's in. I mean, we watch that. It's going to take the excitement out. Yes, we're going to know Auburn, Seton Hall, some of these teams that are just really not great. Yeah, we know they're going to be in, and they're going to play Tuesday and Wednesday, and they're going to be fighting for an 11-12 seed. Well, I mean, that's how this is going to work. South Dakota State's going to fight for their 15 seed. But ultimately, they could make money if they win that on a Tuesday night. Lister text, I'll take the W. I'll take the W, and I will watch. Yeah, I think that's right. Lister text, can Sioux Falls or Rapid City be a host site for these opening round games? No. Nice idea, but I have a feeling that might be, they're going to have one out west. They're going to put some games in Dayton, where they've had the first four. They're going to put some out west. Sioux Falls or Rapid City, you guys better get to work. But no. Yeah, I'm thinking like Phoenix, Las Vegas, Dallas, That's what I'm thinking. I know. I love Sioux Falls and Rapid City, but we don't even want to host the girls' tournaments, apparently, in the big arenas. But anyway, okay, John Schemmel's in next. We'll get started with the USD Athletic Director. His thoughts on expansion. Would this help the Yotes on the women's side, on the men's side, maybe get some revenue if they can get in the tournament? Coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Saving money on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Menards has a huge selection of bagged concrete and mortar mixes. Great for any project. Whether you're pouring a walkway, a concrete slab, or setting a post. View our entire selection of concrete mixes and supplies in store and on Menards.com. Plus, check out the weekly flyer for more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Sagging, bouncing, or uneven floors? Call Blackburn Foundation Repair. Standing water or high humidity? Nasty odors or dangerous mold? Call Blackburn. Critters, bugs, or other pests? That's right, call Blackburn. It's a fact. Crawl space problems don't get better with time, but they do get better when you call Blackburn Foundation Repair. Call Blackburn Foundation Repair today.
Spring has arrived, and the road is calling at Spearfish GMC Cadillac. Right now, drive home a brand new Sierra 1500 and save up to $7,250, or choose 0% financing for well-qualified buyers. Need more power? New Sierra HD start at just $50,130. And just announced, get $750 bonus cash on the all-new GMC Acadia with over 16 to choose from. This season, upgrade your drive and hit the road in style. Shop anytime at SpearfishMotors.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows level off around 32. Tonight, under partly cloudy skies, northwesterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies. Tomorrow, high of 56. Mainly clear. Tomorrow night, lows dip down to about 32. Lots of sunshine and dry. Friday and Saturday, low 60s. Friday, low 70s by Saturday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 52.
Take your Deadwood stay to the next level at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort. Choose Hampton by Hilton or 4 Points by Sheridan, both just steps from the Main Street action. Then play in our 24/7 casino, bet every buzzer beater at the BetMGM Sportsbook, and taste your way through 6 unique dining options. With non-stop events, next-level casino promotions, and everything under one roof on historic Main Street, plan your getaway at tinlizzy.com, where your getaway goes to the next level.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. Have you thought about buying a home or real estate in the Black Hills? Maybe you want to upgrade to your forever home? I have been helping people in the Black Hills find the right home for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. Let me do the work, and you can open the door to your new home. Say hello to a good buy with me, David Brenneman. To get started, just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
We all know life's busy, and if you get sick, you can get behind pretty quick. That's where Black Hills Urgent Care comes in. No appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. Way to get better.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, welcome back in. Your sports, your show. It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show on Fox Sports Radio. Our affiliates KWSN Sioux Falls and Fox Sports Rapid City. Glad you're here. Mike Hendrickson's coming up, South Dakota sports broadcaster. We got a lot of South Dakota sports topics to hit with Mike and his wisdom. Yes. Mike Hendrickson on the way. Trent Singer's in tonight from Sioux Falls Live as well. Chris Danker's talking hoops, former D1 college coach. Chris Danker on the expansion of the potential expansion. It's not done yet, but it's a couple more hurdles here. But looks like they're going to 76 teams. We'll talk to Chris Danker, former D1 head coach at Colorado State. John Schimmel's on tonight. Let's go to USD. Want to talk Yotes? Want to get his thoughts on potential expansion? Because the Yotes have been in the tournament. We know that. He's the athletic director, South Dakota. John, welcome in. How are you?
I'm doing great, Nate. Thank you for having me. Always great to join you.
Thanks for coming on. I know you got a banquet tonight, so we'll get to it. Now, this isn't a done deal, so you can't be like, well, yeah, it's set. It's all done. It's all. But things are looking like a tournament may expand, women's and men's. Couple more steps. Men's committee, basketball committee, women's basketball committee. They got to vote on this stuff. But if they went to 76, the Big Sky commissioner said, this was before this news came out, he was interested in expanding the tournament because that would give the Big Sky men's champion a 50-50 chance to maybe get a win. Because it looks like they may put some of the lower seeds, automatic qualifiers, against each other in a form of an opening round. Why do you think the Big Sky commissioner would want that? Does that impact the Summit League and USD?
Yeah, I mean, Nate, it's a great question. I mean, it's on one hand, Tom Wistersill is the commissioner out there, and crazy enough, small world, Nate, he was my 7th grade basketball coach, if you can believe that.
Wow!
But,
wow!
So I've known Tom a long time, but I mean, there is merit in the statement of the Big Sky or the Summit League winner could get in the tournament and win a game, and there is financial upside to that. And so even though you might have one of the first 4 games as opposed to being in the round of 64, if you get into one of the first 4 games and you play and win, it's actually another segment that pays into the league overall. So there's financial incentive, and that's part of what they're balancing in all of this expansion, to not cheapen or lessen the experience for us. I mean, having said that, for me, there's still something romantic about being in the field of 64 and being in the seed and not having a play-in game. So there's benefits there's good and bad with both, and ultimately, I think we've all known this has been coming for a while, and obviously, I think it's been pretty well documented. We don't have any say in all of this. I mean, there's really two conferences controlling all of this. I know we say A4, but the Big Ten and the SEC are driving everything, and the rest of us are just kind of along for the ride. So this isn't a huge surprise. We've known it's coming, and there's good things about it. But for me, I always feel great about being in the field of 64. But there's financial upside to playing that first 4 game if you can win it.
Do you think fans of USD or even college basketball fans will look at the opening round? I mean, I just put it in my question of the day, and I got some response like, well, if you're like a 15 seed and you got to play a like opponent, that doesn't feel like you're in the real tournament. Do you think fans think the tournament starts Thursday, whether that means anything or not?
Yeah, I mean, the casual fan for sure, yes. I will say there's enough, whether it's because they're interested in the betting aspect of things or whatever it is. I think there's more growing interest in the tournament and college athletics in general. And so those first 4 ratings continue to go up, but there's still a far cry from the Thursday and the field of 64 and all of that. So you look at the benefit of having your brand on that Thursday or Friday round of 64, the visibility, the earned media buy from that is certainly going to be exponentially different. And again, if you play in the first 4 and win, it's a great thing. If you play in the first 4 and lose, not so much. So, again, if you get in there and win, you can turn it into a benefit financially and get into the 64. But, I don't know that it hugely changes our lives, honestly, Nate, overall. So it just, like I said, it is what it is, and I think you almost kind of get numb to the fact that we have no say in all of this, and it just kind of is what it is. And this isn't about opportunity for South Dakota and Montana, right? This is about more opportunities for teams that are 500 in the big conferences and wanting to get bigger brands in. I still think 500 basketball shouldn't get you in the NCAA tournament, but that looks like where we're heading.
John Schimmel on tonight, USD Athletic Director. Reaction to the potential expansion of the NCAA tournament could be coming this next season, trying to go to 76 teams. I would one more on this. So when I think about it, you say, well, let's say USD wins on the women's side. They've been kind of a higher seed than like that 15. I mean, you go back in history, John, they've been a higher seed. So really, I don't know if that impacts it on the women's side. I will say the women's tournament had very non-competitive games until like the final weekend. So going to 76 team on the women's side, what does that do?
Yeah, I mean, I would say for us, I mean, both in the Summit League and certainly our brand, South Dakota State, and obviously North Dakota State overall has gotten very strong. I mean, we've been a 2-bid league multiple times in the NCAA tournament, and we've had strong showings in the tournament. On the women's side, I'd be pretty upset. I mean, unless we finished 5th in the Summit League and then got hot and won the tournament, and then you get shoved into one of those games, you can understand it. But if we're finishing 1-2, where we think we should be in women's basketball year in and year out, and going and winning the tournament, I mean, I still think we would have arguments to be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 kind of seed. And so, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, women versus men. But overall, you look at the top 3 teams or 4 teams net rankings and things like that in the Summit League. Women's basketball is still very, very strong, and the 2 universities in this state have really carried that for a long, long time now. And so hopefully it'll be different, and hopefully we'll still be getting 1 or 2 spots in the at-large field of 64 on the women's side, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays out for sure.
Yeah, I'm curious who are they going to give the extra spots to when it comes to women's basketball. I think some of the big conferences trying to get some of those spots. John, let me ask you about this big event coming up. This was just announced today. Perfect timing. Volleyball has been big and it's growing. Sanford Pentagon's going to host USD, Minnesota, Washington, SDSU. So we're talking a 2-day, 4-game event playing D1 volleyball at the Pentagon in September. This is a big deal here.
It's a great opportunity to showcase both of our programs in the state. Obviously, we've talked a lot about what Leanne has done here, and we're so fortunate to have her. But yeah, it's a great opportunity for us. And what I would say, Nate, volleyball to me is still just a sport in general. Obviously, we've all seen what's gone on at Nebraska, but shoot, I mean, we're averaging 1,500 fans a volleyball match now, and I think we're really still discovering what the growth opportunity there is. And I think you look at youth sports in this state in particular, a lot of young women are playing volleyball, and alongside basketball or instead of basketball. And so to be able to do this and showcase that at the Pentagon, which is always such a great facility, and our partnership with Sanford is tremendous, and they're so great to us. And to be able to do that with a couple Big Ten foes, it's a great opportunity for us, and I think a great opportunity just for the sport of volleyball in this state as it continues to grow.
John, I said, man, Sioux Falls has done a great job being aggressive, putting events like this together. I think they put volleyball, basketball, they've done some really big stuff. And I just wonder how many moving parts there is to an event like this. 2 Big Ten schools, South Dakota State, USD, all getting together, and everybody has to be on the same page.
Yeah, no doubt. There's a lot of moving parts, and the other side of it is, for the bigger schools to be willing to come and play a smaller school, the smaller schools have to be good enough where it's a relevant competition for them in their eyes. And certainly Leanne here at USD and what we've done, and SDSU's done a hell of a job in the last several years, and really, the Summit League now, I think we're 2-3 years in a row with two bids in the tournament, and so we've earned that respect, and so all of it comes together. Obviously, great partnerships with Sanford Health all the way around. A lot of investment in getting bigger brands to come to the state of South Dakota for events like this. And a lot of success within our programs, and so yeah, they take a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of conversations, but a great opportunity, and all that's built on great relationships with the Pentagon and Sanford Health.
That's coming up in September at the Pentagon, September 18th, 19th. Fans, if you want to know this, Summit League versus Big Ten, USD and SDSU playing Minnesota and Washington in volleyball at the Pentagon in a 2-day event. Okay, one more, and I'll let you run to your banquet tonight. John Schimmel's on, USD Athletic Director. It's a spring football deal. So Matt Vitzum, new coach, he just wrapped up spring football. Stats are out, John, where they look at, hey, who's bringing who back? USD has 39% of total production back from their football team. What do you say to people to say 39%? That's going to be tough for the new coach.
Yeah, it was probably less last year. I think ultimately, even though there's some truth in that, we have a lot of experience, whether we brought them in through the portal. Charles is obviously our starting running back. Keandre, I mean, these guys have been marquee pieces of our program that didn't play a snap, or Charles played a game and a half last year, and Keandre didn't play a snap. So we think those stats are a little deceiving, but Nate, what I would say is we're pretty used to people underestimating us, and we're just fine with that. We know what we have here. Vitz has been tremendous. From President Gestring down, we know what we have in football, and we know what we're doing. We feel great about where we're at, and we love that people keep putting us where they put us every year.
How close are you watching Aiden Bauman? He gets a shot with the Packers, undrafted free agent shot.
So excited for him. Just love that kid. He is everything you'd ever want in a student athlete. Couldn't be more proud to call him a coyote, and all that kid needs is an opportunity, and he's going to take it and run with it. So happy for him, so proud of him, and more importantly, just proud to call him a coyote.
John Schimmel on tonight, pops in on the Nate Brown Show across the state, USD Athletic Director, talking Yotes and more. John, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
You bet. Thanks, Nate. Go Yotes.
Appreciate the time. John Schimmel in tonight. Appreciate him coming on before their banquet tonight. USD Athletic Director on South Dakota Sports Talk Show here on Fox Sports Radio. What was his reaction to 76 teams? What was that reaction? Measured? Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess. It's just kind of like, I don't know. I mean, if we get in there and they go to 76 team, maybe if we win, we get a little financial benefit. But I don't know. 64 is still kind of the tournament itself. So interesting. Big Sky commissioner, who's part of the men's basketball committee, and we turn out to be 7th grade coach of John Schimmel back in the day. That's something. He said he would want to expand it. Big Sky said, we want to expand it. Where officially would the Summit League be at? That's my question to you. Does it matter if USD and South Dakota State, if you expand the tournament, they might get a easier game in the first round against a like opponent, like a 15 versus a 15 on a Tuesday night? Does that, do you like that option? Get a win, then get matched up against one of the top programs on a Thursday? You tell me. 605-720-1067 on the Barron's Wilson text line. Mike Hendrickson joins us next from Sioux Falls, South Dakota sports broadcaster coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
At Renewal by Andersen, we handle everything from start to finish and beyond. We are your full-service custom replacement solution. Buy one Acclaim replacement window or ensemble entry door and get the second 40% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Don't wait. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa. for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
All right, it is South Dakota Sports Talk Show. We're live on Fox Sports Radio. Our affiliates are KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. The Nate Brown Show also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch us live on X at Nate Brown Show. You've got us there. Mike Hendrickson's on, South Dakota sports broadcaster. He's done a great job, and he's still on, man. You can hear him calling all sports. He's popping in. And then I have him pop in here. Mike Hendrickson's on the Nate Brown Show tonight. Mike, how are you?
I'm just living on a prayer.
Okay.
I'm doing great, Nate. I'm glad this worked out, and it's so funny because, you know, radio is unique. I listen to you all the time, so I feel like I've been in contact with you.
I love it.
Even though I haven't, you know, so... but no, just, I enjoyed the show so much and the variety of guests, etc. Following Matt on X for all the information that I may not be paying attention to. It works out really well.
I appreciate
I'm good.
it.
How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing good. We're all living on a prayer. I will tell you that. So, let me ask you something. This is going to be about the NCAA tournament. I just had John Schimmel on from USD. And I asked him, what does he think if the tournament goes to 76 teams? And it's not about getting in the small schools, Mike. They're not going to do that. But the layout looks like they're going to allow the mid-majors, some of the automatic qualifiers like a USD or SDSU, they would play in an opening round game against another like opponent, like a 15 seed and a 15 seed, to play in to the Thursday game. Does that appeal to you at all?
Yeah, not at all. I don't know what John said. I didn't have a chance to listen at that point. What were his thoughts?
He was kind of lukewarm. I mean, I explained that. He's like, right. I guess. That's how I explained it.
Okay, that's fair. No, the beauty of the NCAA tournament to me is the runs by the mid-majors. That's the fun of it. Now, granted, if you're going to, let a few more of those in, North Dakota State women, prime example this year, didn't get in, even though they won the conference. But, I worry that we're way too overloaded when it comes to the NCAA tournament. I think 68 is just fine, and I don't see a reason to expand that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I said I'm not going to whine about it and complain too much because I'm a huge basketball fan, so we'll watch it. I guess the Big Sky Conference commissioner said, hey, I'm for this because if we can get a win, whether it's in that play-in round or not, that's money for our conference. That is one big benefit, potentially.
That's a great point tonight. That certainly everything that happens with the NCAA and with colleges and universities, it all comes down to paychecks. So that makes some sense. I guess if they're divvying up the pie more, that's better. But no, I didn't see a whole lot of people calling for this, demanding that we expand the NCAA tournament. Lukewarm is the perfect term for this.
Mike Hendrickson on tonight, South Dakota sports broadcaster. You can hear him. He steps in for Marco on Calling All Sports. I want to get your...
As a matter of fact, I'll be on the next 2 days.
Is that right? Wow. Timing.
Yeah, Thursday and Friday. It's a good timing, Nate.
Look at
Thanks
this timing.
for letting me plug that.
Okay, I love that. Let me get your read on baseball. So you've been a high school baseball guy. I would call you a South Dakota high school baseball supporter. Here's where I'm trying to figure out. There's only 2 states left that don't sanction it. We're one of them, and Wyoming. So Montana, where I'm from, I just was checking in. How is their high school baseball sanctioning going? their sport has grown. Their executive director of their high school association said baseball is just rolling right now. He said, we got more new kids, we got players, we got guys who are coming out. He goes, school baseball has been big in Montana when they sanctioned it. So high school baseball, I think, is healthy. Sanctioned baseball, I think, would make it even healthier. But there's this argument, and people say, well, no, the Baseball Association's doing a good enough job. We just don't need to do it. Where do you stand today?
All right, so Nate, you need to remember, I was on the board for the South Dakota High School Baseball Association back in the early days. And yes, I've been a South Dakota High School baseball supporter for a long time. My position is still, don't sanction it. Because of the fact, high school baseball, and this year has been a prime example, our weather is tricky at best. My grandsons both play high school baseball. They are not getting games in due to the weather. But you would also eliminate any chance of games on Sunday, games on Wednesday nights, and I particularly think this would hurt the smaller schools because you have kids that are, heck, there was a kid in Centerville a couple of years ago. He did all three spring sports. He did club baseball, he did track, and he did golf.
That's wild
for a
to me.
Class B
That's
school.
wild.
It was, but he was able to pull it off. Was he at every meet and at every game? No, he had to pick his priorities. But I think that by sanctioning it, if you sanction it, you take that opportunity away. And frankly, we're not seeing, we're seeing schools that used to have their own teams now co-opting even more. And I just worry that sanctioning would take a lot of that flexibility away and the opportunity for kids who just, want to play some baseball.
Okay, here's one question. Do you think the Activities Association, they've done a survey, they just did a rough survey that said, hey, if we sanctioned it, would you field a team? I want to say this. Send it out to every school. You say, do you want to sanction high school baseball? That's what I'd like to know, and everybody's on record. And if it goes down, that's the end of the story. Is that fair or not?
Absolutely, that's fair. I think that's more than fair. But where we're at with school budgets, not just for athletics, but for activities and, frankly, to pay teachers, et cetera, where we're at with school budgets, I just don't think there would be a big hunger for it. Nate, if you want to go into the weeds with me for a minute, here's what my proposal has been and would be going into the future. Do you mind?
Sure.
Okay. First of all, let's get rid of Legion baseball. Lord love Legion, and I know I'm on the Rapid City station saying that, and that's a whole different animal there. I understand that completely. But when I spoke at the South Dakota High School Baseball Association banquet a couple of years ago, I had a show of hands. I said, how many of you who are running your high school teams also run your summer Legion and VFW teams, or Junior Legion, whichever they call it? And it was 95% the same people. Here's what I would love. Let's do high school baseball in South Dakota. We do it from, pick your dates, May 1st to July 1st, May 15th to July 15th, whatever the case may be. We do it then. You're not butting up against as many fall sports. If the Legion or the VFW or whoever wants to field state tournaments after that, because that's basically their only involvement anymore is state tournaments. If they want to run a state tournament after that, then great. Go crazy, go make some money at the gate and fund, help fund the program, etc. But I would like to see high school baseball and quote-unquote Legion Teener baseball all under one organization.
Very interesting. That is interesting. And you're on Fox Sports Rapid City, Mike Henriksen. And
I know. And listen, I'm not going to light a torch under Legion Baseball when I'm on the radio in Rapid City. I know better than that because it's a whole different animal there, as you well know.
Do you think there's been Legion pushback on sanctioning high school baseball? This is a question I've heard of. Hey, some of these Legion programs have said, we don't want to sanction high school baseball because then it's going to be taken even more serious and get players and stuff like that.
You know, I wouldn't say pushback. I would say they're certainly keeping an eye on it, but there was a situation. I won't get into that, but let's just say this. Legion Baseball across the state of South Dakota, small towns specifically, Rapid City obviously not included in this, but Legion Baseball is nowhere near what Legion Baseball used to be.
Yeah.
It is basically an extension of what the high school program has become in the last 25 years, and that's it. So I was at, there was several years ago, 20 years ago, I was at a VFW meeting. The gentleman who got installed as the state commander was a friend of mine and asked me to speak. And while I was there, I was asking the VFW guys, I said, how many of you are actually involved in running your VFW programs in the summer? And it was similar. A bunch of them were just so happy that somebody else had come in and taken over the program for them that they were more than happy to write a check or to show up and, post the flag and while the national anthem plays, whatever the case may be. But they were just happy not to be in the day-to-day operations of summer baseball.
Yeah, last one on this with Mike Henriksen. Here's one concern I have. Okay. I'm a high school baseball player, so I'm going to play for my school right now, and it's fun, and we're trying to win a state championship under the Baseball Association, but I'm pretty serious. So then in the summer, I got to get on this travel team. I got to go to these showcases. I got to do all that. And when you want to play high school baseball into July, I think you're going to have players that don't want to do that.
Nate, that's a very, very valid point, and certainly one of those. But we see that all the time in gymnastics, in tennis, in various other sports, where they're not playing for their high school. They're on a club team, they're on a travel team, they're in a volleyball summer league, which frankly, plays during the winter also, which is why, a lot of coaches have said we're losing girls to girls basketball, et cetera.
Yeah.
But that's a very, very valid point, and I can't discount that. But at the same time, what we have seen the last 25 years or so is if you are a good enough athlete, people will find you at whatever level it is that you play at. However, I'll just leave it at that. They'll find you, and you don't necessarily have to sink the thousands of bucks into the travel program.
Mike Henriksen on tonight. He'll be in on Calling All Sports the next couple of days for Marco on all of these stations around South Dakota. Mike, good to have you. We're going to talk again, I hope. I appreciate you coming on.
Nate, I always appreciate you asking. Sorry that I haven't been able to the last couple of times. Keep killing it, and I'll keep listening. And again, Rapid City, I know Legion Baseball is different there. So,
thank you.
Well, that's my mea culpa.
Yes,
all right?
It is. The parting shot. Very nice. Mike, thanks, man. Mike Henriksen on tonight, South Dakota sports broadcaster, one of the all-time greats. Find him on X. He's there at Mike Henriksen, and he'll be on Calling All Sports as well the next couple of days. Appreciate Mike coming on. So, big proponent of high school baseball club, staying club. I'm on the other side going sanctioned. And it's not for the reasons, Mike's saying, hey, they're running it and we could just kind of run it into the summer and stuff like that. There's this competitive landscape of Legion teams, of travel teams and stuff like this. And I just don't think you can make all of that work. I think you just do a sanctioned high school baseball season, April into a little bit of June, barely, and you call it good, and then you go Legion/travel, whatever you're going to do after that. And yes, I would like the Legion programs to work with all of the high school programs, which a lot of them do around the state. I understand. So that's how I see it, and I think you sanction it for the brand, the state atmosphere, the Activities Association sanctioning, the state champion. It's high school just like every other sport. It's for access, so you don't have to fundraise a ton like they do. So there's reasons I've got there. Mike's got his. Good stuff tonight. We're the last two states to not have sanctioned high school baseball. It's such a mainstream sport, and we don't have it sanctioned. Wyoming and South Dakota, that's it. Coming right back, hey, this sports league, this is a sports league. Everybody told me, oh, this is going to go. This is going to work. Pretty much done today. It's a big one, too, coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
At Renewal by Andersen, we handle everything from start to finish and beyond. We are your full-service custom replacement solution. Buy one Acclaim replacement window or ensemble entry door and get the second 40% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Don't wait. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. the Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa. For members who want to make the most of every transaction.
And breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate.
All right, good stuff tonight. Thanks for being here and making us part of your day. Thanks for being a part of the show. We appreciate you. The Nate Brown Show is live, Fox Sports Radio on KWSN Sioux Falls and Fox Sports Rapid City. Stream us right now on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, we'd appreciate that. We're trying to get some street cred with the young guys, the Matt Kearney guys. Anyway, The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. Find us, subscribe to the channel, get our numbers up, and watch us live on YouTube right now. The Nate Brown Show. 605-720-1067 is our number. It's the Barron's Wilson text line. Also the Pizza Ranch studio hotline. You can be a part of the program that way. Listener text coming in about high school baseball in South Dakota. Should you sanction it or not? It's a debate. I'm on one side. Now, I do have to tell you, I have to admit, I don't have a son. I don't have sons that play high school baseball. I have daughters. We're down the basketball, soccer route. So I understand the club sport versus the high school sport thing and the whole thing. I do have this, though. I know high school soccer being sanctioned has been outstanding. High school soccer in South Dakota being sanctioned has been outstanding. Playing in the fall has been outstanding. Weather's better, the whole thing. The state championships and all of that stuff. So high school soccer used to be club, and now it is sanctioned, and it's excellent. High school baseball, I think, should be sanctioned for the brand, elevating the play, access for all players. I think taking it a little higher, getting players that maybe I don't know. I think it elevates it. Having a real state tournament, activities association, the whole thing, just like other sports. Listener text coming in, 605-720-1067. High school baseball needs to be sanctioned. If Class B doesn't want to do it, then Class A should do it. Class A should sanction. Yeah. So maybe some of the smaller schools hey, we don't need to do this. We don't have a ton of teams here, and we're just kind of running our own thing. Here's how I think it can come together. Baseball Association folks, Dane and the folks, can get together with the Activities Association, can get together with the Legion program, so you somehow all have to get together on the same page. Easier said than done, I understand. Hey, quick headline here before we get into this next hour. This is a big headline. So, have you guys watched Live Golf? How many? I could count. Have I watched 5 minutes of Live Golf? I'm serious. I've just seen highlights on Twitter and stuff. I have not sat back and watched Live Golf. Here's the news. Live Golf has been on life support. Live Golf has lost its funding now of Saudi Arabia's public investment fund. So that's a problem. Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, they were the ones bankrolling this, trying to get these A-list players and offering them unbelievable amounts of money for just playing, not winning, just playing. So that just came out this afternoon. Wall Street Journal saying Saudi Arabia is going to back off of its funding of the Live Golf Tour. Live's going to tell their players and staff tomorrow. Well, too bad. We already told you on the Nate Brown Show, courtesy of the Wall Street Journal. So this is what just came out this afternoon. No longer a bankroll for the circuit. Live Golf is, I think, going to be dead because there's not going to be any big money. What's the lesson in this? I love sports and business. What is the lesson in this? Is there a lesson, you guys? Because everybody said, Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, they're doing it. I mean, they have endless money, and they've done this with soccer. They're doing this with golf. They do this stuff to get into the mainstream in sports. They're thinking about getting to college sports, right? Remember those stories? What's the lesson? I don't know. I'm sure they have enough money to keep things going. it's just one of those things when you just think, hey, the money's going to make it work, it still didn't work. That's the lesson to be is the more money, it's just going to work. That's all we need. It's just the money, the players and money. No, you need a brand. You need a following. You need to build up your brand. You need to work on this. It's not just throw a bunch of money at something and then it works. And then this leads to a college sports story that just came out. The Big 12 today approving their deal with some capital. They're going to allow teams to get up to $30 million in capital if they want to get some money infused. So this is the Big 12 now. I'm tying this together. The Big 12 is telling their schools, hey, do you guys want money? Do you need money? And so there's going to be schools that can opt in to take $30 million up front right now from Redbird Capital. And you could get $30 million right here, but guess what they're going to want? Well, not ownership. No. They're not making the decisions. It's a loan. So if you're in the Big 12, you're going to have to take this $30 million. Well, you can take this $30 million. Then you're banking on a new media rights deal, and then you making all this money to pay back Redbird Capital. Would you do it? If you're running a Big 12 program today, again, it's throw a bunch of money. Hey, let's get $30 million from Redbird Capital. We just need a bunch of money. A little dicey. Well, what do you mean? It's just a loan. Yeah. And you got a lot of expenses coming due if you're a Big 12 team. Revenue share, NIL, keeping up with the Joneses. You better keep up because then you got to pay back the loan with interest. Only 10%. Oh, yeah. Hey, we're a little short. Can we get another $20 million? So you can't just throw money at stuff. Money always helps. My folks told me that. Money helps, doesn't it? But you can't just throw money at a bunch of stuff. Coming right back, 5 questions from Chris. It's a Wednesday on the Nate Brown Show. Chris gives me 5 questions. I'll answer them next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
The following radio ad is Good Fun Squad approved.
My name is Jenny, and I'm the lady at the South Dakota Lottery who writes out those big checks for our winners. It's a lot of fun, but we've had so many big winners lately, my hand is tired. There was a $600,000 winner, a $2 million winner, a $4 million winner. That's a lot of zeros, and not normal zeros, big check zeros, and the winning never stops. That's why I'm learning to write with both hands.
Good fun.
Must be 18 or older to play. Please play responsibly.
Could there be a better name? Auto Value Parts Stores. They aren't just about air fresheners or fuzzy dice. Auto Value Parts Stores are all about parts, auto parts, and advice. Pros who know auto parts with tons of tips when you need them the most. You want real value? Don't go to a place with a cute name. Go to Auto Value. Could there be a better name? I didn't think so. Your Auto Value Parts Store. We've got the parts, we've got the smarts.
In Deadwood, South Dakota, Cadillac Jacks practically invented gaming, delivering everything you want in a 24/7 gaming experience and nothing you don't. 3 bold lodging options, 5 crave-worthy dining spots, a sports book built for the big game, and a casino floor that never sleeps. Score events, hot casino promotions, our infinity pool, and a merch store that lets you rep the win. Always bet on red. Book now at CadillacJacksGaming.com on Main Street, Deadwood.
Hi, I'm Tim Wrench, and I'm seeking personal injury cases. If you've been injured because someone else did something wrong, call me up. I'm a trial lawyer. I've tried criminal and civil cases for decades, and I can use all of that experience to help you. I also know this, that when insurance companies know that you're represented by a trial lawyer, they take your claim more seriously, and if it is to be settled, it's settled better with a trial lawyer. Wrench Law, 605-341-1111, wrenchlaw.com.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Calling all basketball teams, it's time to box out the competition. The Box Out Basketball Tournament's taking over the Box Elder Event Center May 29th through 31st. The tournament's open to 5th through 10th grade boys and girls with limited team spots available. Friday and Saturday feature pool play, leading to Sunday's bracket play for the win. Fast-paced games, big plays, unforgettable moments at the best facility. Register now at thebox.live.
Okay, ma'am, just a few rules to follow for your new windows and doors.
Okay.
No washing.
For how long?
Forever. No shades, no furniture within 4 feet of the window.
How am I going to do that?
Yeah, I'd stack your furniture in the center of the room, and after the first rain, stay away from the window.
You're freaking me out.
There's no need to be freaked out about installing new doors or windows. Renewal by Andersen has installed over 100,000 windows and doors.
Oh, and don't lean on the window. We wouldn't want you falling out.
I can't lean against the window?
No, you can lean, just don't put any weight on it.
The guy who sold me the windows didn't tell me that.
Don't know. I'm just a subcontractor for the contractor.
Renewal by Andersen has master craftsmen who follow your job from start to finish.
Oh, and the picture window in the back room, it was an odd size, so we made it a little smaller.
How much smaller?
Yeah, about 5 feet smaller.
Yeah, well, now it's not a picture window.
Well, sure it is, if you hang a picture on it.
Brilliant.
Yep, that's why you pay us the big bucks. By the way, I only take cash.
Make the best decision for your home with exclusive custom-fit Acclaim windows and ensemble doors. Only from Renewal by Andersen. Learn more at rbarapidcity.com.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on tonight, Wednesday. Hope you're having a good day, a good week. You're in your drive home on Fox Sports Radio. We're live on KWSN, Fox Sports Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. Glad you're here. You guys make this show possible. We appreciate it. Two great guests coming up. One from South Dakota, one from San Jose. We got a former D1 college coach. Chris Denker is on tonight talking 76-team expansion of the NCAA tournament. Looks like it's coming this next year. Chris has been in the tournament. We'll get his thoughts on it. Net Scouts Basketball's Chris Denker coming up from San Jose. Trent Singer's on tonight from SiouxFallsLive.com. Trent's from Iowa. They've had sanctioned high school baseball. It's seamless, right? Seamless. We'll get Trent's thoughts on high school baseball in South Dakota and more. Trent Singer coming up from SiouxFallsLive.com. Let's ask our question of the day before we get into 5 questions from Chris. Hey, with the 76-team expansion, the tentative plan is to maybe have like the Summit League champion if they're a low seed. Like, let's say the men's team. Let's say you go in as the 15, the 14. I don't know. You could maybe play in that opening round. There's going to be 24 teams that are selected to play in the opening round Tuesday and Wednesday. So that's the initial plan here. And then like USD and South Dakota State would play somebody that's competitive, like a competitive winnable game. So they wouldn't play like Duke right out of the bat, Michigan State, whoever you want to say. They'd get in there as the 15 seed, for example, and play another 15 seed to battle for a shot to play Thursday. So is that option better for you? Because if you win, then you get money for your conference, right? You get a unit, you get money for your conference. Every win you get in the tournament, you get money for your conference. So it would give the Jacks and the Yotes a chance to win an opening round game, which has been insurmountable, and it's just getting worse by the year with the money and the transfer portal and all that. Would you like that? 76 teams and then have the Jacks and Yotes maybe play a like opponent in the opening round on a Tuesday, Wednesday. Then they'd get into the Thursday game and play the big program. 59% of people on Twitter are saying, yes, let's get a win and make some money. Wow, 41% say no, I still don't like the 76-team expansion. You tell me on the text line. It's open, 605-720-1067. Let's go with this.
It's time for 5 questions from Chris on the Nate Brown Show.
All right, you ready? 5 questions from Chris. Line it up, knock it down. Question number 1. Nate, you discussed a couple of weeks ago the DOJ investigating the NFL because some think the NFL's not having enough games on broadcast TV. Should the NFL find a way for fans of a specific team to watch their games only? instead of getting the expensive Sunday ticket with all games. Well, Chris, you're kind of going down the MLB TV model. Like you could watch the Cubs, my Cubs. I could watch every Cubs game, right? Just pay for that. Well, yeah, the NFL should do that, but they won't do that. You got to break out whatever it is to watch NFL Sunday Ticket. I ordered that over the years. I ordered it like every year. I haven't done it the last year or two. But they're going to keep the Sunday Ticket. They're going to keep that thing going with YouTube and whatever the deal is. They're not going to go, if you just want to watch the Packers, here's the Packers package. They're just never going to do it. Yeah, they should do it, but they're never going to do it. And the DOJ investigation is going to go nowhere. The NFL still has a ton of their games on CBS and Fox. A ton. Question number 2. Will having 76 teams in the NCAA basketball tournament make it better for fan engagement or just more, and it silences some of the conferences splitting off and doing their own thing? No, I don't think they're going to break off because they're going to let more teams in now. So Seton Hall and Auburn and some of these bubble teams that are barely even in there, they're going to get in now. So then those SEC and Big Ten teams and Big East, they're going to be happy. So they're not going to break off. Will the 76 teams make it better for fan engagement? Probably across the board, yes, because you're going to bring in more fan bases. I mean, I know it's the popular thing to say this is bad, terrible. I mean, I understand, but they're going to do it, and every league has done it. Major League Baseball expanded the wild card. NFL expanded the wild card. NBA, play-in. Everybody's done it. Everybody. So the tournament's doing it. Question number 3. Each Major League Baseball team has played about 30 games. We already have some firings of managers. Red Sox and the Phillies. There's 10 American League teams with losing records already. If you could do an over-under before the All-Star game, what would you say? 5 managers fired before the All-Star game, over or under? 5 managers. There's 2 now. It's going to be under 5. The Mets they're reeling. They might be next. That'd be 3. I'm going to say under 5 managers fired before the All-Star game in July. I'll take the under. Question number 4. 5 questions from Chris tonight. Kentucky Derby takes place Saturday, Nate. So what spring-summer event would be on your bucket list? Kentucky Derby, All-Star game, baseball, Stanley Cup, NBA Finals. Let's see. I've been to NBA games. I haven't been to NBA Finals. Stanley Cup, it's just off the charts. It's excellent. I'm not a big enough hockey fan, so I'm going to be honest there. Horse racing, I love. I've been to Del Mar numerous summers. Del Mar, California. Watch all the horse racing. It's excellent. Goes too fast. Too many mint juleps at the Kentucky Derby and those yahoos. So what would I say? NBA Finals. Book it. I'm going to NBA Finals if I have my choice. Let's see who gets in. Question number 5. NBA is planning on changing how teams are positioned for the draft because of the tanking. The league's trying to discourage teams from tanking. They're going to switch up the lottery order. What would you do, Nate, to handle teams that are tanking in the NBA to get the best draft picks? This is convoluted. It's messy. How do you stop teams from losing? How do you know teams are totally losing, like the Jazz? It was kind of, the Jazz are losing, and they want to lose. Only thing I can think of is like massive fines. That's the only thing. But again, then you're going to get into some problems like lawsuits because you're going to be like, we're going to fine you this because you're tanking. And then they're going to say, what do you mean? We're not tanking. We have injuries. Or we're just giving these guys some shots here on our bench. We're just giving them some shots. You got to fine teams. That's the only thing I can think of. Who said? Draymond Green say that? Draymond Green said all the players get fined and it stops them from doing stuff sometimes. fine teams, huge dollars. NFL has fines. You hardly see the NBA fine teams. That's the only thing I can think of. I don't know how to put that plan together to make sure it's fair if you think you're tanking. That's the only thing I can think of. And what they're doing is moving teams around. I think that might be okay. You got to try something. Got to do something to get teams from stop losing midway through the year. 5 questions from Chris. That's good stuff. Clean, man. Clean. It's in the books. Chris Danker is next. He's another Chris on the Nate Brown Show tonight. Chris Danker, former D1 college coach. He's been in the tournament. Does he think 76 teams is okay? And what does he think about some of these NBA series? Chris Danker's coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Mom, can we please go to Waitiki Indoor Water Park Resort?
Waitiki? What's so special about it?
Are you kidding? It's got slides, fountains, a lazy river, everything. And it's just a short drive to Rapid City. If we stay at one of the hotels, we get water park.
Really did your homework. Okay, what do you say we pack our swimsuits and hit Waitiki this weekend?
Yes, best mom ever.
Unlock your adventure at WaitikiWaterPark.com.
Save big when you shop at Menards. Shop the largest in-stock selection of AC2 pressure-treated lumber and thick decking. All easy to load in our drive-through lumber yard. Plus, get free estimates using our easy-to-use deck design program. Available in-store or on Menards.com. Save big on AC2 pressure-treated lumber and thick decking at Menards. Also, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Everybody knows to have success on the court, your team needs the right strategy. And it's no different with life insurance. Your team at home is counting on you to have a strategy when things get tough. Lee Cruz, agent with New York Life Insurance Company, is ready to help you make sure the most important people in your life are protected. Get a no-obligation free quote fast. Just Google Lee Cruz New York Life. Don't risk it. Make the right play. Give your family financial comfort with life insurance. Get your coverage options with Lee Cruz New York Life, 605-360-8804. Google Lee Cruz New York Life.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows level off around 32. Tonight, under partly cloudy skies, northwesterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies. Tomorrow, high of 56. Mainly clear. Tomorrow night, lows dip down to about 32. Lots of sunshine and dry. Friday and Saturday, low 60s. Friday, low 70s by Saturday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 46 degrees.
The Honda Certified Dream Deal sales event is on at Denny Menno Rushmore Honda. Get financing as low as 0.99% APR on Honda Certified Pre-Owned Civics, CRVs, HRVs, and Passports. Plus, shop a lot full of used imports and domestics. Virtually any make or model, including a great selection of all-wheel drive and 4x4 trucks and SUVs. See us at Denny Menno Rushmore Honda or RushmoreHonda.com. Length of finance contract is limited. With qualified credit, expires 4/30/26.
At Highmark Credit Union, we believe banking should feel personal. That's why when you walk into our lobbies, you'll be greeted by real tellers and friendly staff, ready to help with your questions, big or small. And yes, we've got the latest technology too, for when you want quick and convenient service. The best part? You get to choose. Highmark Credit Union. Personal service backed by modern technology. We'll make it happen. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Stuck in a state of falling behind? Struggling to keep up with your kids, your finances, your insurance, your life? This is State Farm Agent Matt McCormick. Let me help you simplify and get to a better state. With me handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else. Even more money, too. Because adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40%. Call me, State Farm Agent Matt McCormick, and get to a better state with State Farm. 348-0464.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. How you doing tonight? The Nate Brown Show is live. We're on Fox Sports Radio, KWSN Sioux Falls, and Fox Sports Rapid City. Question of the day. if the tournament goes to 76 teams and South Dakota State or USD gets to play in the opening round against a like opponent, like on a Tuesday, Wednesday night, would you like that option? Because maybe they could win Tuesday, Wednesday, and then they would be in the tournament Thursday as like the 15 seed, whatever it is. Would you like that option? That's the initial plan as people are putting this together, right? It looks like 12 low-ranking automatic qualifiers and 12 bubble teams that the Seton Halls, the Auburns, they would get in. So they'd play like opponents on the opening round Tuesday, Wednesday. It'd be 12 games. Chris Denker's on tonight. He's been in there. Former D1 college coach. Also has had a son at a mid-major. So good perspective. Chris Denker, Net Scouts Basketball is his company. He's back on the Nate Brown Show. Chris, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks, Nate.
Appreciate you coming on. So I wanted to get your read here from all aspects. That's what the details are today on the 76-team expansion proposal is like, hey, if you're in the Big Sky Conference or if you're in the Summit League, maybe you have a low seed, you're a men's team, you have a low seed like 15, for example, you could play a like opponent potentially on a Tuesday, and then you get a win, and then you get money for your conference. The Big Sky commissioner has endorsed that. He told Montana Sports a while ago, I would want to expand it because our men's team, they could get a win, they could get a unit here. Do you think that makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, it does for those teams for sure. And again, it makes let's put it this way. I've always felt like the old first four that I guess will go away now. It never really made sense to me, and I just didn't understand it. And I really like the 64. I'm kind of traditional that way. I kind of feel like if you're going to expand it, they should have gone all the way to 80, because then you'd just be adding a whole other 16, and you'd have a balanced bracket. The 12 thing throws me off a little bit, but you explained it very well. And so those first-round matchups on the Tuesday, Wednesday night would make for some more competitive games. Essentially what you're going to get is, as you said, the 15s and the 16s playing each other, and that would be a great, there already is a Big Sky Summit League challenge, and there's some great non-conference games in the preseason. They play two opponents each, and there's always been some great games. And then I think that kind of that 11-12, or is it 12-13 or whatever, those would be good games too. And we've seen that in those first fours. Texas came out of that, of course, this year and ended up winning a game. But so it's going to make for some competitive first-round games. Just to throw another thing out there, one of the things I've not liked about the first four in the past is that when you have Selection Sunday on Sunday afternoon, depending on what part of the country you're in, it could even be early evening, and now you're asked to play in Dayton on Tuesday night. I mean, that's literally zero turnover. I don't know how they do any scouting or any preparation, and then you throw in your day of travel. So I kind of wonder if Selection Sunday will go away, and maybe that becomes a Friday thing. You have to move up conference tournaments because more teams are now going to play on Tuesday or Wednesday for the tournament.
Okay, so I had the athletic director at the University of South Dakota on tonight, John Schemmel, and I asked him this. I said, hey, the Big Sky Conference Commissioner wants to do it. He said that, and he's on the men's basketball committee, this Big Sky Commission, so he's involved. He said he can't comment now, but he did make that comment prior. USD's athletic director said, yeah, I guess it would be a financial good thing for us potentially if we got in there. But he goes, I don't think that's what it's all about. He seemed lukewarm to it. Why do you think there is? There's a lot of people, I'm getting pushback on this show saying, nah, 76, we don't need to expand. Most people are saying that.
Yeah, I think it's a couple things. I think one, you start to feel like maybe is it getting watered down? Is it too many teams just to make, for the national championship? And then, of course, the obvious is, well, it's just for money. The other side of that is I don't have a problem with it. The FCS football championship is a great tournament, and they do a good job with that, and the cream typically rises to the top in that, that tournament. But when you're talking about the basketball side of things, one of the things for me, and again, I was there as a coach and had kid and all the stuff, right? And I just, the experience is just something that you'll never, as a coach, I think I did it 4 or 5 times, that you just you'll never forget, and your players most definitely won't. And getting to hear their name announced as making the bracket is an experience in and of itself. And so I to just rush to play a game, like I say, on this Selection Sunday, and then rush to play a game on a Tuesday night, it feels anticlimactic. It feels like, it's not, you're not even getting to, enjoy the experience, which is the media day, and it's the arrival, and it's the practice is open to the public, and it's just, all the pomp and circumstance of the bracket and of the week leading up. And instead, it's just play immediately. Well, then you almost don't even feel like you're part of it. Now, yes, if you were to win, if South Dakota were to beat Montana, let's say, in a first-round game and get a piece of the pie, as you said, well, that's great, and they won a game, and now they'll go on the road and go play somewhere else. But I wish they would really put their, brains together and figure out how can we make it, a legitimate, whether that's adding another weekend or some sort of, push it back just a little bit, or like I say, maybe it's that you move, the selection show up a couple days so that they can prep and get ready, and we can, develop that anticipation for those games. Think about a parent that wants to go watch, fans, boosters that want to go watch their team play, and you find out, you live in, let's stick with Montana, you live in Missoula, Montana, and you find out you're going to be playing in Dayton Tuesday night. What are those flights look like? How are you going to arrange all that to go? Or are you like me, and I live in California, but my kid plays in northern Colorado? How am I going to buy a flight to get wherever I got to get to go watch him play as a senior? Like, it's just, there's a lot around this that they need to figure out.
But it does sound like, Chris, and you tell me if I'm wrong, it sounds like you're okay with going to 76 teams and this format potentially.
Well, the format I'm not in love with. I think expansion is a little bit inevitable, and so rather than, argue, like I say, I wasn't really for the play-in deal, whatever they called it, that went from 64 to 68. I was, 64. And, I was the women's coach at Santa Clara University, and we were in the WCC, and we were the first ever to receive an at-large bid out of WCC. And so, those are things that I remember, and that achievement, we take great pride in. And so now it's kind of getting confusing and, like I say, a little watered down. I get it. We're going to expand. I'm not going to argue all that, and just try to understand it and move along, kind of like we have with the portal and like the NIL and all the other stuff. You just have to just roll with it and figure it out. But I do think that if you're going to do it right, come up with the appropriate bracket and the right system so fans can get behind it, and the experience for the players, the coaches, and the fans is good. I feel like the football deal, they kind of messed that up a little bit. Now they've kind of tried to juggle around that, and who's going to play who, and home games, or who's the higher seed and all that. And, they messed it up 2 years ago. I think it was Oregon had to play Ohio State, or some of the weird deal. Yeah, two of the best teams had to play. So they don't make that mistake. Figure it out now and do it right.
Chris Denker on tonight, NetScoutsBasketball.com. His company tournament, very close to going to 76 teams. I do want to get your read on this one recruiting story that came out yesterday. Number one player in the country, number one, Stokes. Could be the number one pick in the NBA draft 2027. He chooses Kansas. People say, well, he chose Kansas over Kentucky. What does that say?
Yeah, for me, I get the Kentucky thing, and, everybody throws around these the blue blood labels, and certainly Kentucky has proven just the last couple of years, maybe 3, to spend the most money on NIL. But they're not in the conversation for winning championships. I think Kansas is also blue blood, and you can talk about the success and compare it, there as well. But then you got to look at, for me, Bill Self is one of the top 4 or 5 coaches in the nation, and for me, that's kind of a no-brainer. And that's no shot at Kentucky. It is what it is. I just think that, I've been to Kansas, been to games there, watched it, the history, Fog Allen, Dean Smith, Roy Williams, go back to Dr. Naismith, all that. That's KU basketball. So I just think that, if the money, I don't know what the money was. At some point you just figure they're all getting a lot. So at that point, I'm thinking of quality basketball, development for pros, the coaching. I'm sure he's getting a lot of money, and then the history and the tradition and the fans, and certainly Kentucky is good too. But I just find it really hard to kind of say, well, Kansas, that's a funny option. I think it's a fantastic option.
Kansas gets the #1 senior basketball player in the country. Stokes just commits there yesterday. Chris Danker's on tonight. Last one, Chris. Wolves Nuggets. A lot of people interested in that series in this part of the country. Wolves had the edge. They lose Anthony Edwards and DiVincenzo. That hurts big time. Do you think the Nuggets now win this series, Game 6 tomorrow?
Yeah, I kind of tend to lean towards the Nuggets, personally speaking, and like their team, and obviously Jokic we've talked about on your show a little bit, and what a phenomenal player. And I kind of think that they've been playing without Aaron Gordon, and then you mentioned Edwards and DiVincenzo, so it's made for kind of an interesting series, right, with so many star players out, and how you can adjust and that sort of thing. But I do believe that, Denver, I think they can go get this one. And if it goes back to Denver, I think it's over. But, this is where Jokic steps up, maybe Murray. They got a huge game the other night. Well, from a couple of guys. Cam Johnson was really good, and Spencer Jones came off the bench and played really, really well. And, Brown and Hardaway, if those guys really step up, I think that they're better. Obviously, this injury thing has been interesting. And I think that last I heard, there's a little kind of game time decision where Gordon could potentially play.
Chris Danker going Nuggets tonight, netscoutsbasketball.com. He's always great. Chris, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Nate.
Appreciate you. Chris Danker in tonight from netscoutsbasketball.com, former D1 college coach. Didn't sound like he was totally against the expansion. Doesn't love the quick turnaround, the format piece. This will be interesting to watch. Big news this week, NCAA tournament on the verge of changing. We'll go back to high school with Trent Singer, SiouxFallsLive.com. Does he think South Dakota high school baseball should be sanctioned here? He's from Iowa, where they sanction it. We'll ask him next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
At Renewal by Andersen, we handle everything from start to finish and beyond. We are your full-service custom replacement solution. Buy one Acclaim replacement window or ensemble entry door and get the second 40% off with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months. Plus an extra 5% off the entire project if purchased on initial consultation. Don't wait. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
I didn't know anything about radon. I didn't know it's a gas you can't see or smell. I didn't know it's radioactive from decaying uranium deep underground. It can seep through cracks in your foundation and collect in your house. 1 in 15 homes have high levels, and you don't know if yours is one of them unless you have your home tested. And radon? Well, radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer in America. I wish I would have known that.
Call Blackburn Foundation Repair for radon testing and mitigation.
There are 1 billion credit card transactions around the world every day. That's 11,698 swipes a second. It's easy to forget that behind each one, there's a person, a family, a dream, a connection being made. The Black Hills Federal Credit Union Visa, for members who want to make the most of every transaction.
Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
All right, let's get after it tonight. Hey, we've been getting after it on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. If you miss parts of the show, go to the Nate Brown Show podcast. It's there on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, really wherever you get your podcasts. Search for us, The Nate Brown Show, and then you've got South Dakota Sports Talk Show. John Schemmel was on tonight from USD. Good perspective from him on potential NCAA tournament expansion and more. We talked about USD football. They're underdogs. He said that's great. That is great. John Schemmel on tonight. Mike Hendrickson popped in. We're going Trent Singer now. Sioux Falls Live. Covers high school sports, Augie hockey. Trent, welcome in. How are you?
Doing good, man. Love to hear a little outfield as I'm coming on to the show.
You know it.
That's always nice. But
you know
it's going well over here. I'm just waiting for that warm weather to settle in for good, man. I'm kind of sick of this cold weather right now.
I believe that. By the way, speaking of the weather, spring sports, tough in South Dakota, but here's a big one. Now, I know you're an Iowa guy, okay? You've covered Iowa stuff, and so here's South Dakota. We have high school baseball. We don't have sanctioned high school baseball. So it's a healthy club scene. There's programs that have some high-level players. I mean, so all of that. Does sanctioned high school baseball work in Iowa and transitioning into Legion? Would it work in South Dakota, sanctioning high school baseball?
Well, you'd like to think so. I think a lot of people talk about the Legion overlap, right? I think that's one of the prevailing arguments you always hear about why it hasn't been sanctioned. And Legion baseball in all the states I've covered, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Iowa. Legion ball I've never seen it as popular or kids gravitate towards it. It's a big deal around here in South Dakota, so I get that angle of it. I think the bigger issue, though, that a lot of people overlook is, this came to a vote a year ago, and June of last year, I believe they voted on this, to make it a sanctioned sport, and it didn't pass. And I think one of the bigger problems was, it costs. I believe the estimated costs for it to be taken on by the SDHSAA is between $10,000 and $15,000 per school, and I think that's the bigger drawback, that why people are more scared of sanctioning this. And another thing you have to look at too, I think when you talk about baseball being sanctioned in South Dakota, is right now it's governed by the South Dakota High School Baseball Association, and I think that people are more just content with it being in their hands right now, and I think that's kind of the sentiment that I get from a lot of people. Obviously you have the a coalition of people who want to protect Legion ball, and I get that. Baseball is a lot more popular in the summer months around here. It's a longer season. Kids are able to play it throughout that whole year, and it has its own rules and it has its own governing body. But yeah, the season around here, you got to think it starts in April, and by the time it starts, I think in early April, it's still pretty cold around here. And, look at right now. It's 50, 60 degrees out. It's sunny. The weather's nice here in Sioux Falls. But the season isn't able to really get in full swing. And then by the time you reach May, I mean, you're already starting state tournaments. So that, there are hurdles. There's logistical hurdles in that too. And then it bleeds right into the Legion season, right? So it's almost like this spring season now serves as like a preseason for what becomes 3-4 months of Legion ball for these kids. And I think, you talk about it, if it's sanctioned, or, is that creating more exposure? Is it creating more opportunities for kids? I don't know that it really is. I think kids, if you're good enough to play around here, you're going to be found. You're going to be discovered. I mean, you see kids from here coming out of the Sioux Falls area that go to programs like Augie and South Dakota State and go on to. We've seen kids. Harrisburg's had a couple kids that have gone on to the Big Ten and played here in recent years, and there's guys who have gone on to do that. And so I think that people are just kind of happy with what they have now. Now, would it be better? I mean, I would argue that it probably, it would have, certainly the organization of it would certainly be better. I mean, there's a lot of things that you talk about it being better for the fans to consume. SDPB probably producing some of those games as well if they were state tournament games. I mean, yeah, that certainly plays a lot better too for people to be able to watch the sport and access it, fans and parents and whatnot. So there's certainly a lot of arguments to be made. Can it be done? I think it could. I just think people are kind of content with what they have right now.
Trent Singer joining us tonight, talking SiouxFallsLive.com. Find him on X at Trent Singer. Hey, what do you think of this big headline NCAA tournament expansion to 76 teams? Here's the caveat. If they arrange it how they say they're going to arrange it, a Summit League men's champion, for example, might be the 15 seed. They would play an opening round game like on a Tuesday against another like opponent, somebody like a 15, 16. They would play each other for a win Tuesday to get to play Kansas Thursday. What do you say?
Well, I think the bigger issue here, it's not like Division I basketball is really growing. I could see this as something that we should be moving towards if we were adding more basketball programs. That number's not going up. That's where I have the bigger problem with it. I don't understand so much opening it up to 76 teams if your sport isn't growing. I mean, they've talked about this on the hockey side of things, right? It's 16 teams right now. There's been, I think, 4 or 5 programs that have been added in the last, 5-6 years, really. And on the hockey side, they've talked about expanding it to 24 teams. That makes sense. I mean, the sport's growing. On the basketball side of things, I don't see it really growing. I don't know why we're adding, making the tournament field bigger. It's not like the parity at the bottom is even better nowadays too with NIL and this current era of college athletics that we're in. I think that's another thing too, is we're seeing a watered down version already as it is with 64 teams. Those last 2 or 3 years of this tournament have been kind of chalk in those first rounds. I mean, you've seen some 13s, some 12s upset. I think long gone are the days where you see 15 seeds winning, 16 seeds winning. I mean, it's just not. I don't think it's going to happen anymore. I mean, these programs are turning over rosters every year. You look at the portal this year. I think it's something over 60-70% of the players in college basketball were in the transfer portal this year. I don't see how this is going to make it more appealing to people. I'm personally. I'm okay with, I guess, adding more teams. I don't really have an opinion otherwise or other. I just don't think it's going to make the product significantly better, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And I think on that same note, some rules need to be put into place. And personally, I think rules need to be put into place so that mid-major programs can have more opportunity in the NCAA tournament. Because I just don't think we're going to see much parity in those early rounds. Like we used to see. I mean, we used to look at matchups and say, 14-3 here. I could really see this 14 seed winning. And a lot of times, people would be right. People would be dead on with it. And now it's really hard to find it. I mean, this tournament's just so much more watered down.
Trent Singer popping in tonight as we wrap up the show on a Wednesday. Find him at SiouxFallsLive.com. Always good to get you in, man. I appreciate the time.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Nate. Anytime.
Thanks a lot. Trent Singer. Find him at SiouxFallsLive.com. Does a great job covering high school sports and Augie hockey. here on the Nate Brown Show. Who's hot and who's not? We wrap up the show with a big retirement today in the NFL. One of my guys coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
All kinds of vehicles, all kinds of loans, all as low as 4.99% APR. At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we're here to help all kinds of people, just like you. Get moving. From truck drivers to van warriors, we got the right loan to fit your style with rates as low as 4.99% APR. Wherever the road takes you, start with BHFCU. Apply today at bhfcu.com or text or call 605-718-1818.
Offer subject to credit approval. BHFCU is member owned and insured by NCUA.
I started doing it once in a while. Just for fun in the car with my friends. And yeah, I knew it was deadly, even illegal, but I didn't care. I remember looking down, and she was crossing the street, and I saw her just before I killed her.
Addiction has many faces. Texting and driving when you know it's life-threatening and illegal can be one of them. Take back control. Put the phone down.
Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, the South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Are you searching for a new vehicle? At Spearfish Motors, we have pre-owned vehicles in every price range, from budget-friendly to like-new luxury. We've got the selection you want and a price that can't be beat. Heavy-duty diesels, light-duty pickups, roomy family SUVs, and sporty sedans. All locally sourced and all priced below market. Click, call, or come by Spearfish Motors today or shop anytime at spearfishmotors.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows level off around 32. Tonight, under partly cloudy skies, northwesterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies. Tomorrow, high of 56. Mainly clear. Tomorrow night, lows dip down to about 32. Lots of sunshine and dry. Friday and Saturday, low 60s. Friday, low 70s by Saturday. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 46 degrees.
Mr. Liquor's the only place to find select bottles of bourbons and whiskeys custom etched with the most popular South Dakota landmarks, including Mount Rushmore, Pactola, and Sheridan Lakes, plus the B21 Raider Edition. Your choice for just $39.99. Or check out the brand new Jefferson Bourbon custom etched bottle celebrating America's 250th birthday. Also, save $11 off a $7.50 bottle of Crown Royal Chocolate, now only $19.99. Mr. Liquor, off Catron next to Walmart, or on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
Hi, this is Jeremy with Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, inviting you to kickstart your morning by dropping by and grabbing some fresh donuts. I want to thank you for voting us the best in the Black Hills. We're up early making your favorite donuts, so stop by and bring some to the office. Everybody loves Jerry's Cakes and Donuts, and we love you, so stop by, get a great selection, and brighten up your day. Serving Rapid City for over 40 years, Jerry's Cakes and Donuts at 109 East Omaha, and remember to like Jerry's on Facebook for some great giveaways.
Denny Menho Rapid Chevrolet means service. We service all makes and models, even if you didn't buy it from us. Everything from oil changes to more serious repairs. If you find yourself in need of some body work, our body shop is gold certified, and we can put any make or model back in shape. And if you need new tires, right now, our tires are buy 3, get the 4th for just $1. See us for all the details. See us at Denny Menho Rapid Chevrolet, rapidchevrolet.com.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on. You might think I'm crazy. I'm not. It's Who's Hot and Who's Not tonight, brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. Our friends at the Pizza Ranch have the best buffet in town. Locations East 10th Street, Sioux Falls, and Brandon. Stop by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet. Who's hot and who's not? Here we go. Are you ready? Let's do this. In my Who's Hot category, it's my guy. This guy's one of the great players. Justin Simmons, safety for the Denver Broncos. You know, he left the team. They sent him out later in his career. He's retiring, and Justin Simmons retiring as a Bronco. He says he's coming back to Denver to retire. That's where he made his career. Justin Simmons, so great safety. Steve Atwater, Simmons, Dennis Smith. There's been some good ones for the Broncos. I'm a fan of Justin Simmons. Played the right way, good character guy, good leader. Simmons, rough years in Denver as a team, but a great player. In our Pizza Ranch Who's Not tonight, it's easy. It's easy. Here it is, perfect tonight. If you want to watch 2 NBA games at the same time, you can't. The Pistons and Magic are on Prime right now. The Raptors and Cavs are on ESPN right now. So I can't. I go home. I have to switch out. I can't just flip over and watch the games. I got to get in and get out. Thanks for playing. Good luck switching in and out. See you back here tomorrow on the Nate Brown Show.
If your bun falls apart halfway through your burger, it's not the right bun. If it tastes bland,